So, hello, my name is Austin Reed. I'm a U.S. veteran, and this is Vet Interview, where I interview other veterans to help people understand what they kind of go through in the military and in their transition out of the military. So, this is Patrick.
Hi, I'm Patrick Hayes, and I'm a U.S. Navy veteran.
Awesome. Yeah, so you spent some time in the Navy, right?
Yeah.
So, how long were you in the Navy for?
I was in for 4 years.
Okay, what did you do in the Navy?
I was an operations specialist, second class, service warfare. That's it.
So, what do you do? Like, what's your job? Kind of entail.
My job was typically being the brains of the ship. We had navigation. We also had radars that we looked on for service contacts, and we pretty much communicated with other boats in the fleet. With every boat in the fleet, actually. So.
Okay. Did you do any deployments, or how many deployments did you do?
Yeah, I went on 2 deployments, both to the Middle East in 2009 and 2011.
Okay, cool.
Favorite ports, Dubai and Thailand. So those 2 are kind of like runner-ups, you know.
Oh yeah. What was the best part about Thailand? Can you say? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, there's my favorite. I think the best part about Thailand was the first time I ever hustled someone because they were hustling me. So the first time I ever successfully hustled someone, and it was pretty legit because they were trying to sell me a hammock for 2,000 baht, and that's around like $80.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want the hammock. And they go, okay, what price good for you? And they give me a calculator, and I'm just like, 0. They're like, no, what price good for you? I'm like, no, I don't want the hammock. And I started walking away, and then they're like, no, what price good for you? And I was like, fuck it, I'll just put like 100 for 100 baht. And from there, they're like, no, too low. What price good for you? I was like, 100. And then they said, no, how about 15? I said, nah, I don't want the hammock. I kept like leaving.
Yeah.
No, one price. No. What price good for you? And they kept going. I said 100, and dude was like 800. I was like 100. He's like 500. I said 100. He goes, fine, 280. I said, no, I really don't want it. So I started leaving. He's like, okay. And he puts it in my hand, and he goes 100. And I was like, oh, I should totally get it right now. But I was like, I don't want the hammock, so I just left. And then I left, and I went back to the boat, and some dude came back. He's like, man, I swindled this guy for a hammock for 200 baht. And I'm like,
bro.
I almost got it for 1.
Yeah.
I said, you're welcome.
Damn.
Yeah. And 100 baht's like $3.
Yeah.
Maybe less than that.
So you're about to get like a hammock for like $3 basically.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper than that actually. I think it's like in the pennies.
You didn't want to get a hammock on ship?
Nah, not no place to put it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I figured like in between racks or something.
Nah, it's too much of a hassle.
We were on my deployment we had guys like, because you're supposed to barter, like not barter, like negotiate kind of prices like you're doing.
Of course.
And like that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like they kind of always go up a little bit with military because they know like we got money.
Yeah.
And
we kind of don't care.
Don't have anything else to do other than like so. But the newer people that are coming in, they were like weren't bargaining, and they were just paying, and it wound up like causing things to increase more. And I was like, guys, you're killing me. Like you're not bargaining, whatever. So yeah. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Because like even if you get it for like $80, like American or whatever, and it's like Beats headphones. Yeah. And this was in Hong Kong one time, so they would sell these Beats headphones for like $80, which is like 7 times that. Which, what is that? 56.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess somewhere like 500 something Hong Kong dollars, and we're like, no, it's too expensive, too much, and they're like, okay, and they went down to 300 Hong Kong dollars real quick, and that's like
kind of give you a little bit,
that's like $40. And we're like, dude, no, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, if they're comfortable with that number, that's not really what they're comfortable with, you know? So, yeah, that was the thing. Everyone was getting Beats headphones, and they're like, yo, you get them for super cheap. Just get them for this price. I was like, bro, okay. But, yeah, typically, though, it's like when you don't know, when you don't have, like, a mentor, you know? That's like the thing that if you don't have a mentor, like, on your first term, you know, like your first deployment, first anything, first going out, in particular different countries, like countries that you've never been to before, like Hong Kong, Thailand, Bahrain, you know, Jordan, you know, all those places. Like, if you don't have someone to tell you, like, look, you don't have, like, they're marketing this, they're marking those prices up real high
for you.
So yeah, man, some kid with, like, and they'll even use kids, man.
Yeah.
So in Jordan, they had, like, this kid that's like 6 years old, and he'd be like trying to sell these baseball cards or whatever cards they were, like, $1 dinar, $1 dinar, and $1 dinar is like 280 of our dollars. So so it's more, you know. Yeah. So $1 dinar, like,
people don't know though.
People don't know. They don't care. People's like, they just don't.
You
know. So yeah, the way that money is exchanged, it's different. And like, if you don't have a mentor to like show you or be there with you as you're making that first initial purchase, you know, I mean, it can mess up.
You can cuss on it.
Okay.
Hey, I don't give a fuck.
It can really ruin like the future of, you know, I guess, our economy. It could.
Well, so you were talking about like mentor, right? Did you have any mentors? Like, you don't have to say who they are, but do you have any mentors on like your first deployment or like right when you hit the fleet?
I did. I had an OS1. His name was OS1 Foster.
Just kind of real quick, what do you mean by what's OS1? Like,
OS1. It means Operations Specialist First Class.
Okay. And first class is like
first class petty officer. Okay. Yeah. So equivalent E6.
Okay.
Yeah. He was my LPO at the time. Which also LCPO, because we didn't have a chief, so it was pretty much LPO. Anyways, he kind of, so there's actually two people, but he was like the one that helped me with my first purchase in Thailand on my first deployment. He's like, yo, we get two suits for $500. You know? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, Armani. It's like, those things are like $2,000.
Yeah.
Like, just one. And then he was like, I'll show you. So we go to this suit shop in Thailand, and then we literally go and you know, just make shit happen. But yeah, other than buying suits and stuff, yeah, I mean.
But he kind of opened the door, like, hey, this is how you're supposed to like, kind of like interact.
Yeah. But that's just like in the selling standpoint, but also as like a leader. When we came back from deployment, you know, you have all this money or whatever. Well, I didn't have a car.
Oh.
You know, but I wasn't really too concerned about like the money or whatever. Like, I think I was a E3 at the time. Yeah, so I was an E3 at the time, and I wanted to get a car. Oh wait, no, I did have a car. I fucked up. So this is what happened. I'll tell you the story about this car. Okay, so
first cars in the military are always an interesting story. But I do want to ask you one question real quick before you tell me the story.
Yeah.
So you said LPO, right?
Yeah.
So what does that acronym mean?
LPO stands for Leading Petty Officer.
Leading Petty Officer. Okay.
That's someone in your division, which is a group of people in a department.
Yeah. So the kind of like the enlisted person that's in charge of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, cool.
So equivalent to a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps. Someone that, you know, kind of leads the pack and goes over the plan of the day, and you know, sets up tasks for everybody. You know, in a way. At least that's how it worked on my boat. But yeah.
So first car.
First car. Okay, first car. Didn't have a mentor.
Yeah.
Not at all. I graduated from A school where I was in Great Lakes, Illinois. Flew over to San Diego. I was in TPU, which is Temporary Holding Unit. And my ship was already on deployment. So USS Comstock, LSD-45.
Nice.
LSD stands for landing ship dock.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people that don't understand like acronyms and stuff like that. So like, I just wanted to help include them on the conversation.
No, it's good. That's good. But yeah, landing ship dock. That's LSD-45 USS Comstock. They were already on deployment in 2009, and I graduated from A school. I graduated from A school, flew into San Diego, was in TPU, and I didn't have a car, and I didn't know what to do with my life, I guess, in a way, just being like, oh, I go to TPU and I do my 7 hours here or so, 5, 6 hours, 5, 6, 7 hours here, and then I'm off, and then I repeat the same cycle, and I was like, what do I do? Well, I can go to the galley, that's it, which is the cafeteria. And stuff like that. But one day I was in the galley eating, and then I ran into this guy I was in boot camp with, day one. Like, yo, what's up, man?
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, what you up to? It's like, nothing, just chilling. He's like, yo, you got a car? I was like, no. He's like, I do. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah.
Kind of a pissing contest a little bit.
Huh? No, not even that. He's like, I do. I was like, cool. He's like, you want to get one?
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, sure.
Nice.
He's like, I'll take you. So he goes and I get in this truck and we fucking go to the dealership. The dealership that he bought his truck from. Scammy ass place, bro. Honestly.
It's is there advertising to military kind of stuff, or
I don't know, man. I don't know. They pretty much would just like sell you anything.
Yeah.
I guess that's how I felt. But so I went and then the dude left, right? So I was there by myself. I was like, okay, I can do this. Yeah. I mean, I actually had a good credit score. Thanks to my pops. Big shout out to you, big guy. I had a good credit score, and they were like, "Oh, we got this new sailor. Got to sell him a car."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Which one do you like?" And I was like, "Well, I like that one." I was like, "Cool. Let me get your driver's license, all your information." So I was like, "All right, cool. If that's how I'm gonna drive it." Did that whole thing, drove the car, and I liked it. But I also learned some stuff later on, which was stuff I'll get into. Anyways, I got the car, and I got it for like 11%, interest.
Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you know what? I don't think I actually got it for 11%. I think they're going to sell it to me for 11%.
Yeah.
But I knew to go to Navy Federal and get a pre-approved loan.
Oh, and they wouldn't approve for like 11%?
They actually, it was cheaper.
Okay, cool.
So they were going to give it to me for 11%, but then I was like, look, I got this pre-approved loan for 15, whatever. And I think it was like 7%. It was way better.
It was more region, like...
Yeah. And then after that, I was like, I got a car. I got to put some stickers on here. And back then, we had to have like these decals on our cars.
Yeah. To get on base.
And if you didn't have a decal or if you didn't have a patch, you're not getting on. And these dudes were strict. So I had to figure a way to get my car on the base, and I got it on the base eventually after like hours of dealing with them. But yeah, got on base, and I had this car. A month later, I got an email from my sponsor on the boat, and he was like, hey, so you're going to be coming out to, you're going to be flying out to meet us in Qatar. I was like, oh, okay. So I just bought this car, and a month later, I was going to leave to go on deployment, so I had this car, which I found everything that I don't want in a car, right? Turning radius is something that you want to look for. You want to make sure that you're checking out the CD player. If the CD player works, you want to make sure that the seats go back and forth, and if they're electronic, make sure they go back fast enough or slow. Make sure they work. You check out all these things. If those things are not things that you're like looking into, you're gonna be frustrated half the time. Because I like when I make a U-turn, I like to do a full U-turn, not a K.
Well, I think another thing is like a lot of people will probably see, like hear that and they're like, oh, that's obvious. But when you're like a 19-year-old dude or 18 and you're like off by yourself and you're like you don't have like family friends to rely on and you're in a new area and all you know is like, well, I got money.
Yeah.
I need a car. Mm-hmm. And I want to be an adult and go do it like by myself. And then but you have no experience in that area. Like people make a lot of mistakes and stuff like that. I remember I have a pretty crazy like. I didn't do anything stupid. Like my parents work at a dealership, so I got help buying a car. Mm-hmm. So I like obviously knew the ass down, but I've had some pretty crazy like stories of like, which I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah, I want you to let you finish your story real quick.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I just figured out some things that I personally need in a car. Yeah. You know, yeah, just make sure to check your shit. So, anyways. A month later, I get my orders. I get this ticket to fly out, and then I do deployment for 5 months. Come back, and I was like, all right, well, I don't like this car. I'm gonna buy a new car.
Yeah.
But maybe I should pay this car off first. So I was like, all right, let's go to Navy Federal, and I was like, I want to pay off my car. All right, cool. Paid off my car just to buy another car, which I brought that Mitsubishi Eclipse to the dealership. I got an Acura RSX. I said, hey, look, I want to trade this in, you know, so on and so forth. And they gave me $6,000 for the car, which the car was $12,000. So I paid the car off for $12,000. They took it off my hands for $6,000 to apply onto the car that I was going to get for $18,000, which made me pay $12,000.
Yeah.
Which I should have listened to my mom at the time. She said just trade in the car that already has the shit. That already has like what's that thing called? Like it has the lien.
Yeah.
You know. So Navy Federal had the lien on the car. I could have just traded that car in for the car I was gonna get.
Yeah.
They would have just took it off my hands. I would have had this other car, and I could have put $12,000 on the car to only owe $6,000.
Yeah.
Instead, I owe 12.
It's weird.
Yeah. So I was like, what the fuck? Like after like
you did the math.
After the next week, you know, I was like, I'm so stupid. And then here's the thing. So after that, I got this car, and then my OS1 was like, so Hayes, I heard you got a new car. I was like, I did. He's like, why the fuck did you do that? He got pissed. Like, he was about to be like, I don't know. I forgot. I'm playing this. I might have thought this in my mind. I felt like he threw, like, a chair, bro.
Yeah.
Like, across the room. Like, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
He was like, you're a seaman recruit. In my head, I'm like, I'm a seaman. I'm an E3. You know, like, I'm not an E1. Like, don't fuck with me with that. So, yeah. He was pissed. He was like, why didn't you tell anybody? And then, funny thing was, like, the day before I got the car, I talked to the CTT1, who is in my division.
Yeah.
And he's equivalent, you know, CTT1, OS1, first classes. They're both, like, operate in our division. So I told him, like, look, I'm thinking about getting this car. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Go ahead, do it. I was like, all right. And then the next day, why the fuck? He was like, and then he was like, why didn't you talk to nobody? And I was just like, I looked at CTT1. I was like, and I looked at him like, I'm not gonna snitch on you, you know. Like, and he looked at me like, don't do it. He looked at me like, oh shit, like, I fucked up.
I fucked you over.
It's like I didn't mean to, you know. Like he had that face, like I didn't mean to fuck you over. Like
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I was like, okay, you know. You know, I was like,
what do you do at that point?
Yeah, I was like, okay, but I wasn't like
bitter about it.
Yeah, I was. You know, I felt like I made a good decision. And it, you know, turning radius was amazing. The CD player worked. The seat wasn't electronic, which is cool because I can just go back and forth. And I was like, yeah, okay, everything I fucking need. Bam, boom. And yeah, so that was that story. Yeah, but I remember when I bought that car, I think I also got in trouble, right? So I'm gonna segue into this new topic, which is called you fucked yourself. Right?
Oh wow!
You're right.
So that's pretty interesting.
No, it's I don't know. Maybe it's called.
I like the title. That's a attention grabber right there.
No, we're gonna segue into it's called
You done fucked up.
I don't know what the fuck to call it. Okay, so the situation is I got in trouble, but so did my boy McCoy.
Okay.
Right. So but it's funny because every time we got in trouble, every time one got in trouble, the other one got in trouble for a different reason. Yeah. But it just happened to be
same time.
We always got in trouble at the same time, and it was always tasked to do things at the same time. So we kind of like we started joking around like, yo, we always getting fucked, bro. Like at the same time. Like yeah. It was crazy. I don't know what to call it. Double fucked? I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I got in trouble one time. I didn't show up to work. So I didn't show up to work because I overslept, right? So it was like 10 o'clock. And I overslept and they were blowing up my phone. I think my phone was dead. And then McCoy comes over and he's like, and it's funny because we got out of deployment, we both have a barracks, and apparently the funny thing was we share a bathroom, which wasn't planned or anything. They just like put just put groups of people from either the same or different boats into these barracks, right? And McCoy happened to be like, the next one over, and we shared the bathroom. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I got in trouble, and then he got in trouble, and then we got tasked to do some shit. Like our boat was dry docked, so we had to climb like over 500 stairs just to get to our workspace. Yeah. And then
that's only one time.
We were told to get this binder or a group of binders, and we went up. We got this group of binder. We went down, and then he was like, "All right, where's the binder?" I don't know what that stands for. What's binder? And I don't know. Maybe we should bleep that. I don't know.
No.
Operation security, OPSEC, boom. Anyways, let's get the binder. And then we go, all these binders, like, all right, where's this binder? I was like, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then he's like, the fucking binder is, I almost wanted to just keep on fucking this. The fucking binder is in the office. Go get the binder. So McCoy and I were like, yo, what the fuck? It's not up there. We went back up 500 steps just to go back down and be like, the binder's not there.
Yeah.
He's like, the fucking binder's there. Flipped another chair. Flipped the table, bro. And then we're like, it's not. He's like, it's there. If I have to get up there, like, no. So we took our ass back up there. Damn, dude, if we had a Fitbit or some shit, I swear we'd be like hitting fucking bing, bing, bing.
It was like 3 days worth of workout.
Dude, it was nuts. And then we
skip leg day that day, right?
We went hella looking through like the binders, and we're like, dude, it's right here. I'm like, fuck. So
you knew you were gonna get your ass shoot out.
Yeah. And then we had the binders like, it's fucking right. It's what it was. And then we looked at each other like, bro, someone dead ass went up there to put the binder. Like they took the binder.
Yeah.
And they told us to go up there, and then they put the binder back. I swear, like the binder was not there. So that was our little inside thing. But there was a time where I was just constantly getting in trouble. Not constantly getting in trouble, but like for like little things. I kept getting looked at like I was like a piece of shit, like a dumbass. In my mind, I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not a dumbass. I'm like, I felt like I was really squared away, But since I was like an E3, I didn't know my shit.
Yeah. So you're just making all these little mistakes.
Making these little things, and like you just like they just like look at you and they gear on like, yo, what the fuck, right? Until one day, we were tasked to like stay in our ops office or our combat information center. This is where we work, our workspace, and we had to be there for the construction workers. So it wasn't even my day, like it wasn't even my duty day or anything like that. But I went in there from 12, and they said someone's going to relieve you in like 2 hours, 12 to 2, right? No one left till 4. I was like, okay. And there's a phone there, right? But I was like, all right. So I just sat in the office. And I was like, just make sure everything's good to go. I was like, all right. So 2 o'clock. They said someone's going to relieve me. Okay, we'll just chill. 2 hours later, construction workers leave. I was like, it's 4 o'clock. Well, they said someone's going to relieve me. So I wait. I keep waiting, bro. Like, I keep waiting. Like 5 o'clock happens, 5:30, and I'm just like, there's this phone right here. All right, what's the officer of the deck's number, right? So I'm like looking who to call. It's my first boat. I've only been in this room like like 2 months out of my deployment because the rest of the time I was cranking, which we can segue into that also. But yeah, I was like, I don't fucking know these numbers. Like, I've never done this before. Okay, let me just maybe this is it. And I was like, maybe this is the number. I called that number. It's like, oh no, you got to call this number. You got to call like 2222 or whatever. And I'm like, oh okay, 222. And I was like, hey, I'm OSSN Hayes. I'm just wondering if there's someone here that can relieve me in Combat Information Center. And they're like, oh. So like literally like from that call, it was like seconds. One dude, he was OS2, Ferg.
Yeah.
He walked up. He's like, yo, Hayes, what the fuck you doing? Get the fuck out of here, man. He's all like joking about it. He's like, dude, the fuck? And then he's like, bro, like everyone already left. I'm like, I know. He's like, yeah. And I missed the bus to get to the barracks, so I just walked my ass home. I walked my ass from NASCO? That's what it's called, NASCO?
Yeah.
And I walked my ass across the street, made a little zigzag, and got to my place, and I was like, all right, time to go to sleep.
Did they ever explain, like, why no one...
The next morning, they were like...
we forgot.
It's like, Hayes, I'm sorry. It's like, Hayes, I'm sorry, man. But that's some crazy shit that you just did. Like, I fucking know who you are now.
Yeah.
And then from there, I wasn't looked at as a little piece of shit dirtbag, you know.
Yeah,
from there, I was a little seeming like E3, but it seemed like they kind of understand like who I am, you know. So from that moment, I was like, all right, cool. And then I guess created a name for myself. I was no longer getting in trouble. I was no longer getting in trouble. I got an MP, which is whatever, and then I took the test because you take a test in the Navy to rank up. Took the test, and then a couple months later, became a Petty Officer third class.
Dang. Yeah, the ranking up in the Navy is like completely different in the Marine Corps. You guys have like a written test you have to stay for. The Navy and the Air Force, I think, both do that.
I have no idea what the Air Force does.
Yeah. There's like they study for a test.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm like, yeah, we just have to run fast and
that's some shit that I wish that the Navy had, like, because I could do push-ups, sit-ups, and run all day. Like I can get good scores, but if that doesn't account.
Well, it's divided. So like the Marine Corps, you have Marine Net classes, so that will improve your score to get promoted.
MCIs?
Yeah, they changed it, so now they got rid of MCIs and it's just all Marine Net classes now.
Okay.
So it's the same. It's literally the exact same thing, but they put it on a different website. So. Because I did it I did mine when they were MCIs, and then I got promoted to corporal, and I did it when the Marine Net classes, and then so you do your Marine Net classes. Now it counts for some of your education points. So you can do college, and now you get extra points for college. Mm-hmm. And then what really helps is your pros and cons, and which is like your proficiency in conduct.
Okay.
And then your PFT and CFT play into it.
Okay.
So all those things get added together as like one whole score, and depending on that score is when you'll get promoted.
But those scores, they have like a digit behind it?
Yeah. So like I think the lowest, they're called cutting scores. And when I think I got promoted to sergeant at 1650, 1675, like 1,650 points was the minimum. Mm-hmm. To pick up, or no, that's what I had, but like I had breached the gap, whatever it was like 1,600 or something.
Yeah.
To get promoted, so that like that's okay. I've seen some people where their cutting scores are like 1,900, which means like you're not getting promoted anytime soon. And I've seen some people with 1,100 cutting scores, which means like you can breathe, corporal, like you just get promoted pretty
okay.
quick. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
That's
the difference.
So yeah, we don't have that. They have points for like our PRTs, physical readiness test.
Yeah.
They have points, and you can get 100 points if you get this, right? Nothing more, nothing less. Or actually, of course you can get less, but 100 points and that's it. But you never see these points ever. The points mean nothing on your eval. It means nothing. And then we have like equivalent to MCIs, which is NKOs, and that's like based on Navy knowledge. I forgot exactly. I forgot the acronym, but
you guys do like a crow board too, or something like that.
No.
You don't?
No. We just take a test.
Huh.
That's it.
Dang.
We don't. That's it. The test. You take the test, and that's pretty. Yeah, dude. Take the test, and you can pass that test. But then you also have a percentage of, like, every job has a different like percentage that they're gonna pass through, a passing rate. So you can have a 90%, which is what typically OS3s can. People that are taking the OS3 test. They have 90% chance of passing, so that's damn near putting your name on the fucking test.
Yeah.
There's other people like corpsmen. I just recently heard that there was a 0.7% chance
that you're gonna pass.
That you're gonna have a passing rate. So there could be 100 people taking that test, but only 7 are going to get advanced. Is that right? 7? No.
Yeah, it's
is that 7.7? No.
Oh no, not even
there's
that.
1,000 people.
Then only
then 7 are going to go. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, if there's 1,000 people, then only 7 are going to get advanced. Yeah, so that's the difference between like with what we have, which is kind of, which I wish that we had something that can reflect on our PRTs. Like, all right, you fucking did this physical, did this and this and that, cool.
Yeah.
Then that's gonna help you,
Well, it's funny, like, so I do notice that a lot of branches are changing their physical fitness. But Marine Corps is always consistently, it seems like it's making it harder. Because it used to be women, for example, women's fitness standards where they used to have to do
bar hang,
yeah, just
for a minute 30.
Yeah. So, but now they have to get a max score is like 7 pull-ups.
Yeah.
So like they started implementing pull-ups for women, and because it used to be for my max score, it was like 20.
20, right?
And now it's 23. For if you're like 21 and older,
right?
Like 21 to 25,
and then it goes down.
No, it goes up until it goes up until you hit about 30. Yeah, it's
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so, that kind of makes sense.
I think it's also because what they do, and this is kind of, I'm kind of bullshitting this, but from my understanding is that they kind of get samples of like, hey, run a PFT, and then depending on how those people do at what ages, then they start making a bell curve for it.
Of course.
So
yeah,
and like if you think about like older people are the ones who decided to stay in, so they're probably like are better physically fit wise.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, that makes sense. And it's funny how you said that, because like that makes me think of this one guy that I was at a seminar for, like a personal development seminar. This guy, his name was Rex Crane, and he would say something like, "This is some moto shit, honestly."
Yeah,
some moto shit. He would say, "Baby, like when people have babies, they say, what's the average age they're gonna walk? What's the average age they're gonna talk? What's the average age that this is not gonna happen, right?" And then he's like, people are so concerned about what the average level is, but they're never concerned about what's the peak.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you're never concerned about what's the peak, what's the best I can do, what's the, how great can I be, can I push myself to do more? Like, everyone asks for like, oh, it's average, but what's the peak?
I do think the Marine Corps does a very good job at like judging you on an individual level, because it's always about what are you improving on.
Mm-hmm.
Because your pros and cons could improve if the 1 quarter before you're just like not doing anything in the shop, you weren't really contributing anything, you kind of just showed up like you're just literally a breathing bag of flesh right there, and then next month like you're stepping up and you're doing extra work, and then that can account, and you can give some gratification to them like within a quarter of just writing a better pros and cons. Like, hey, you were like barely a 404. Like, if you just got in trouble, we would be able to drop your pros con down. But you're starting to step up now and stuff like that. So now you're like, a 4.2, 4.3, or whatever. Just like kind of example.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this was really cool. So, how long have you been out of the Navy?
I've been out for about 7 years, a little over 7 years.
Okay. So where were you? Where were you before the Navy? Like, where'd you grow up at?
Oceanside, California.
Oh yeah,
right out here. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so Oceanside. So what made you want to join the Navy?
Well, so what made me want to join the Navy was I watched a video with The Rock. He was called the Pacifier.
Oh my god.
And he was a Navy SEAL.
The Rock?
It was The Rock, right?
No, it's Vin Diesel, dude.
Fucking Vin Diesel. Oh damn, dude. Damn it, bro. They're both bald, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, dude, I could have sworn it was Rock. Yeah, Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
So
So you want to be a SEAL?
Yeah, I wanted to be a SEAL. He did some crazy shit. I was like, oh, dude, I want to do that. But I honestly don't think it was that movie.
Yeah.
I think there was just like something that was like, you know what? I saw something. I was like, I want to do that, and I want to be a SEAL, right? And then multiple things like I kept associating myself with like, Greek mythology.
Yeah.
So I started learning about Poseidon, and then the Trident, and then all these other things, and then I started like seeing shit in the fucking clouds and stuff, right?
Yeah. So you're just kind of like attracted to the water and stuff like
that.
Yeah. And then like kind of like a more.
I used to be a swimmer, not like a swimmer, but like I used to like being in the pool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was that one time I was like, yeah, I want to be a SEAL, and then I was actually, before even that, I was actually gonna join the Marine Corps because my dad was a Marine.
Huh.
My dad was a Marine.
Yeah, I mean, Oceanside kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a Marine. That's how it's gonna go, right? I didn't even think about SEALs, like Navy SEALs. Didn't associate Navy SEALs, right? Navy.
Yeah.
And then it's funny. So I'm going like a huge rant right now, but like I went to do a physical for something I had to do for school, and I did this physical, and at the end of the physical, my dad goes, "Hey, do you want to be a corpsman?" And he shows me pictures on the wall of corpsmen, right, in their sailor suits, like their white Cracker Jack sailor suits, and I was like, "No," right? I was like, "No, I want to be a corpsman. It's just stupid," right? Because I associated it to the sailor suit, right?
Yeah.
I was so used to the leather neck uniforms, dress boots that you guys had, right? So I was like, no, and I was like, I'm gonna be a Marine, in my mind. And then my dad was like, if I had, like, we drove later on, we were driving back home. He's like, man, if I could have redone it, I would have been a corpsman. I don't know exactly like why he said that. He probably explained it, but I wasn't listening. I was 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Well, and plus he said I would have been a corpsman. Like, you want to wear that sailor suit?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a sailor suit, bro. I didn't even know it was a sailor suit.
Yeah.
I was like, that uniform is stupid. Yeah. And then that happened. And then my dad passed away. I was still going to school, senior year, and then a couple dudes was just walking around my school. They're wearing the Johnny Cashes, is what they called it. The all black suit, dress suit.
Yeah.
Not dress suit, like buttoned up suit with the tie and the Garrison hat.
Yeah.
They're from the Navy, right? Yeah. I was like, and we would just shoot the shit. Like sometimes, like, what's up? What's up, Bryce? And we call him Bryce. What's up, Bryce? Blah, 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 blah. And then he tried to recruit people, right? And we're like, nah, right? And what's up, Bryce? He come like 3 times or some shit. What's up, Bryce? And then one day he was like, you want to come to the office or some shit? He said, come to the office or whatever. Something like that. Like something like, I don't know exactly how it happened, but he's like.
But he like invited you to the office.
Yeah, and my personality was like, if you invite me to something, I might as well keep my word,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah. So I go to the office, I take this test. He's like, what do you want to do? I want to be a SEAL. I was like, okay, let's take this test. And then the score on there was 60. He's like, cool. That's the score that you need to get to be a SEAL. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then the next week, we're doing ASVAB testing at school. And then I went to school that day, and then Bryce was like, hey, you want to go to MEPS today? I was like, why? They're doing the testing right here. Well, you're not going to get your results for months. We can get your results and do your test right now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went. I got a low ass score. I got a low ass score. And
dude, he's like getting you to join the Navy by break, you know.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, and then yeah, from there we went to MEPS, did that thing, and then yeah, told my mom about it. Bryce came over. We talked a little bit. She's like, "You want to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then yeah, I think I went to MEPS another time to DEP to do the whole DEP program. And I forgot what that stands for. But yeah, I went in, dude. I went in, going in as like, oh, I can join the Navy with this rate. I think they were doing rates. Yeah, they were doing rate. I can go in the Navy with this rate, but at boot camp, I can request to go into the SEAL program, right? That was my mentality. So I was like, all right, time to fucking train. So that's all I did for like the next 7 months was just fucking do push-ups, sit-ups, swim, and that was my shit. And then went to boot camp, and it was true. I could have went to the SEAL program. They were like saying, "Hey, does anyone want to go in the SEAL program? Yeah. Come in, like this is your time to shine." This was a swim call. This is your time to shine, but we're only taking those with 60 on their ASVAB score at least, right? And I had a 47, so I was like, fuck. I was like, I had that score in the office. Fuck, you know? I don't know, nerves or whatever, but yeah, dude. So I was like, fuck. And then I just didn't go. Damn. You know, I just became an operations specialist and went to my first boat. And that's pretty much it. Did my thing.
So what made you want to get out?
Lack of purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, lack of purpose. I would say that's like one of the things that would make me stay in, you know. So like purpose, there's like two things in life that people need, and that's happiness and purpose, or purpose and happiness. Yeah. Those are like two things. Like, are you happy?
Do you think they go hand in hand?
I think so.
I definitely, me personally, I feel like if you have a purpose, then you're probably gonna be happy.
Yeah. But yeah, so happiness can go so far, but unless you have purpose, you're not going to go anywhere. So I felt like I didn't have any purpose because as an operations specialist, your job is only on deployments. Yeah. Or, you know, going out at sea for like a couple weeks at a time. Yeah. That was the job. Like.
Well, I noticed that with like, so I mean, I was in from like 2014 to 2014, 2019. And like operations like slowed down a lot, and deployments were drying up, and like I can see it in a lot of guys' eyes that they're like, "Why am I here?" You know, because nothing's going on in the world. We're not having to go and do anything. I'm just showing up to work, and like we would have things to do at work for them, but it's like training. Like it's like being a football player and training every day, knowing you're not gonna have Friday night. Like knowing that you're gonna train Monday through Thursday. But Monday through Thursday just don't end and for like 5 years, and then that's it. Like you just never played. You just did you did drills, you did practice, you did all this warm up, and you never got to play. Yeah. You know, that's what, and I can see it like on them because it started draining them, and then that's when you start getting people like having the worst possible attitudes, and you have to be like morale police. Yeah. And then morality police, you know, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like one of the biggest things. Is like I didn't have any purpose because like back in port, when we were back in port, like home, San Diego. Yeah. We didn't really have anything to do, so half the time we're either tasked to do something in someone else's department, or we're like, yo, I'm not an engineer. Yeah. You know, I'm not in the engineering department. Yeah. You know, I'm not in the supply department or deck department. You know, it's like I'm not in those departments. You know, so I was like, yo, I don't want to be tasked to do anything. So what do you gotta do? You gotta hide. Yeah. That's you know, like what do you gotta do? You gotta hide. You know, and yeah, I mean, you have to like literally find something to do, and I think that's the biggest thing is like since I felt like I had nothing to do because I didn't put myself out there in terms of like I didn't join the Second Class Petty Officer Association, you know, or I didn't join a training team, or I wasn't like a section leader, you know, because obviously I was second class. You're only a first class and above to be a section leader.
There was just no like extra responsibilities back in port that you actually wanted to do.
Yeah, that, and like also, and like half the time I felt like I didn't have any responsibility. You know, like I couldn't make the big decisions if I wanted to. That I think that would benefit my sailors that are under me. You know, but
so let's say someone's thinking about joining the Navy, right? Like they're kind of on the fence about it. What do you like? What would you say would be a reason why they should join the Navy, or what would you say would be a reason why they shouldn't? Like, what characteristics? Like, if you think this, you shouldn't join the Navy. If you think this, you should join the Navy.
Okay. First off, let me get something straight. If you're scared about joining the Navy because you can't swim, you're only going to swim one day. There's only one day to swim. And if you don't pass that one day in boot camp, they're going to make you pass. Like, you're going to go again and then again and again. So, like...
Anybody can... Like, you'll eventually learn how to swim.
Yeah, you're going to learn how to swim, and people will pass.
Yeah.
You get passed. So, anyways, bam. So, that's, like, the biggest thing. So, like, if you can't swim, don't be scared because you do more swimming in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
Well, yeah, that's what I've heard from everyone else. Like,
yeah, you do. Like, so we have
the helo dunk tanks or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's like certain jobs, certain deployment.
Mm.
But you also have swim qual. So you have swim qual boot camp, and then you have like levels of like you can just be basic, you can be intermediate, and then there's WSA. Like there's advanced swim qual, and then I think it's WSA, and then there's McQuist, and McQuist is like your top tier swim instructor, and it's probably one of the hardest swimming programs. It's the hardest swimming program I think the Marine Corps has, to where anybody can go. It is the hardest swimming program that the Marine Corps has that anybody can go and do. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty intense. Like I didn't do it. I just heard people's horror stories, and from them talking about it, they're like, yeah, I'd never do it again. I was just like, so I was like, yeah, well, that makes me not want to do it. So,
yeah,
and but yeah, if you're, but also like I'm not a decent swimmer. I wouldn't say I'm like super strong, but like my swimming definitely got better. I had some like gunnies and sergeants that were helping us swim and stuff like that. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it definitely improved. Well, I believe my phone's about to die, so I was gonna go to cut it here, but we can let's do this again and finish out those stories.
Okay.
Awesome.